I've been working on alchemical processes for about the last 6 to 8 years in the society. The notes for the class are available online at fiachrabonesetter.com. I have a lot of various pieces to the alchemical and the distillation available to you. It's Fiachra, Fiachra, Bonesetter, Bonesetter.com. It's listed in the Pennsic handout on the class schedule. Years ago, I became interested in alchemy, and I have collected a lot of different period texts as well as secondary sources and what we call reviewed or juried works that have been published on the subject. And I discovered a lot of things that finally make more sense to me. I assume that most of you are familiar with a gentleman by the name of Pythagoras. And whenever I was in high school, I was taught that Pythagoras was an algebraist. That was what we were taught, that Pythagoras was an algebraist. Which never made a lot of sense to me because I couldn't figure out in ancient Greece who hired an algebraist. How do you make money being an algebraist? What the heck is an algebraist? And the word algebraist translates from Persian aljabar, to bring together. Pythagoras was a bone setter. That's what algebraist means, to bone set. So that for all essential purposes, good morning.
Good morning, Fiachra. It's Pennsic by 1:45.
It's good to see you this fine morning. So that Pythagoras essentially was a chiropractor, even though that's not what's taught. That's what aljabar means. So that we come into our period, and there is a famous Persian medical physician whose name gets translated in the West as Aljabar and becomes anglicized Gerber. So that one of the most famous alchemists in medieval time period, Gerber, is Aljabar, a medical doctor who does bone setting. So that my anglicized name in society is Fiachra Bonesetter. So that if you have the opportunity to purchase this text at any point in time, do so. This is the alchemical works of Gerber, Aljabar, the Persian physician, who dies about 971, 972, which is totally period. Gerber, the Persian physician, is given credit in the West for inventing distillation as we know it today. This text that I'm holding in my hand is number 345 of 999 printed. I bought it fairly new. The list price on the inside cover is $35. If you go to Amazon.com, this text is currently selling for anywhere from $300 to $600. This is the golden book that you need to do true alchemical distillation. I have redacted part of the text and placed it online on my website so that the redaction from this is available to you online. I have included online the original text in black. My redacted is in red, so that you can see the difference. Want the chair? Welcome. So that you can compare what the period text was to what I've redacted. What I've redacted is not necessarily true. It's my best attempt. If any of you have better attempts, I would certainly appreciate your sharing it with me. So that various things, alchemical works are called magistry, which means work. So that we're constantly talking about greater and lesser magistry. It simply means the alchemical work. You will see various terms in alchemical texts which do not translate directly into English. Alchemists were attempting to describe the natural world as they encountered it. And they are using language to describe the natural world as they encountered it. So that we see words like mercury and sulfur. And you cannot translate those directly into English metal terms. These are not elements of modern chemistry. Whenever you see the word mercury in an alchemical text, they're talking about ethyl alcohol. If they are referring to the metal that we call mercury today, they label it quicksilver. If you see the word quicksilver in the text, that is what we call modern mercury. If you see the word mercury in an alchemical text, they're referring to alcohol. If you see the word sulfur in an alchemical text, they are referring to essential oil. They are not referring to the yellow stuff. When they refer to the yellow stuff, the term is brimstone. So that what they were doing was they were distilling sulfur, which we today call essential oils. So that sulfur in alchemical terms can be roughly equated to aromatherapy of modern day. They do not distinguish between the essential oil and the hydrosol. So that you will see sulfur water, that means hydrosol. If they say pure sulfur, they're talking about pure essential oil. If they say mercury or water of mercury, they're referring to alcohol. So that the purpose of the alchemical still is to separate alcohol and essential oils. So that's the great work. And they will refer to these materials in various terms dealing with medicine. So that the alchemical sulfur is being used medicinally in much the same way that we use it today.